Baby Pokemon. Baby Pokemon are Pokemon that are at the lowest of the evolution line. They were introduced in Generation 2 to give existing Pokemon a more diverse evolution. Baby Pokemon are in the no eggs discovered egg group, and unlike the first stage Pokemon, baby Pokemon cannot breed, so while Pokemon like Charmander can breed, a Pichu or Magby can't in any way. Some baby Pokemon can only be bred by giving their evolution's essence items. If a Blissey is holding a Luck essence, it can breed a Happiny, however if it doesn't, it will only breed a Chansey. Most baby Pokemon are cross-gen pre-evolutions, but Pokemon like Riolu and Togepi are an exception as they were introduced within the same region as the revolved forms. In addition to all of this, some baby Pokemon had exclusive moves which only the baby Pokemon could learn, but since Generation 9, this all changed as now Pokemon will give birth to baby Pokemon regardless of held items and now no longer have exclusive egg moves. Split evolutions. Split evolutions are Pokemon that can evolve into different other Pokemon. Unlike most Pokemon that have a one evolution branch, some Pokemon have two or even more branches to choose from. Some of these branch evolution Pokemon have different types from each other, like Vileplume or Blossom, while some have different stat distributions like Slowbro and Slowking. There are some Pokemon that even have 8 branched evolutions, such as Eevee with its 8 evolutions. The best part about split evolutions is that it lets its trainers have the option to evolve their Pokemon to their own lichens, which can add a lot more diversity to competitive battling. Cross-gen evolutions. Cross-gen evolutions are evolutions that are introduced in later generations that are given to Pokemon from previous gens. Cross-gen regional forms also count as cross-gen evolutions, such as Alolan Raichu. They are created so they can give weak Pokemon a new chance to shine, or give unpopular Pokemon some love. One example of this is Primeape, a Pokemon who unfortunately hasn't been great in competitive, but with its brand new evolution Annihilate, it became one of the most broken Pokemon in Smogon. Then we got Dunsparce, an unpopular Pokemon that hasn't received any attention until now with its new evolution, the Dunsparce.
You serious?
I feel like this evolution is more of a meme than an upgrade in design, but I mean, hey, either way, people still love it. Fossil Pokemon. Fossil Pokemon are a Pokemon that originated from, well, fossils. Fossils are preserved remains or traces of organisms from an animal or plant, and for Pokemon, it's the same thing. In the Pokemon world, fossils of Pokemon are items which can be obtained and revived to bring the extinct Pokemon back, such as the Old Amber for Aerodactyl and the Jaw Fossil for Tyrantrum. In Generation 8, we got introduced to 4 new fossil Pokemon who can be revived in a completely different way to other generations. Players got the option to now combine 2 different fossils to revive a single new Pokemon, which was an interesting way to add variety to the Pokédex. Fossil Pokemon have an average base stat total of 495 to 521. Variants. Variant Pokemon, not to be confused with regional forms, are Pokemon who look different in appearance compared to Pokemon of the same species. This can be due to appearance, environment, gender, and more. Shiny Pokemon are one example of variant Pokemon as they look different than their counterpart species like normal and shiny Sceptile. Then there's Totem Pokemon like Alolan Marowak, who is larger than regular Alolan Marowaks. Variant Pokemon also exist in spin-offs and the Pokemon anime. One example are the clone Pokemon from the first Pokemon movie, with some having patterns on their body, or shadow Pokemon like Shadow Lugia and Mewtwo. Alternate forms. Alternate forms are similar to variants with a slight difference. Alternate forms are forms that give certain Pokemon new traits, forms, and stats to give Pokemon different roles in battles or in the Pokemon lore. One of the most iconic alternate forms are Deoxys forms, with its attack, defense, and speed form all having different stat distributions. There are alternate forms that change a Pokemon's typing as well, such as Rotom's 5 different forms. There are even alternate forms that increase a Pokemon's stat, such as Ash Greninja gaining increased attack and speed. Regional forms. Regional forms are Pokemon species that are found in a specific region. Unlike variants which aren't exclusive to a certain region, regional forms are only found in the specific region they come from. Regional forms gain a different appearance to their original forms, and also a new type. Regional forms were introduced in Generation 7, and were made to add more diversity to different Pokemon. Some of these Pokemon even got a chance to shine in competitive because of their new forms, such as Hisuian Samurott in OU. There are also regional evolutions, which are regional forms that evolve into a completely different species, such as Paldean Wooper evolving into Clodsire. Regional forms have shown to work, and Pokemon fans have really appreciated the special treatment Game Freak has given to Pokemon that needed some love or in need of a new form. Convergent species. Convergent species are completely different from regional forms. These Pokemon are known to be ecologically similar to previously discovered Pokemon. Take Wiglet for example. Despite looking like a Diglett, it is completely unrelated to it. In fact, it's not even a regional form. Convergent species were introduced in Generation 9, and as of recording this video, there are 6 known Convergent species out there. Some of them are Toadscruel, Wugtrio, and Sinistra. Mega Evolution. Mega Evolution is a temporary form that occurs in a Pokemon battle. It was introduced in Generation 6 and became one of the most loved mechanics in the Pokemon community. To be able to Mega Evolve a Pokemon, a trainer must obtain both a Keystone and a Megastone according to the specific Pokemon. It is also said that the trainer must have a deep bond between their Pokemon. Mega Rayquaza is a bit different since it's the only Pokemon that can Mega Evolve without a Megastone. I'll also add Primal Reversions on here since they're technically Mega Evolutions in a way, with the only difference is that they transform immediately once starting a battle, unlike being given the option to transform. Amongst Mega Evolution, the Pokemon gains an extra 100 points to their base stats. Mega Evolution can increase a Pokemon's weight, height, ability, and even their typing. After almost a decade of absence, Mega Evolution is set to return to the main series Pokemon game, with Pokemon Legends EA marking its return. Gigantamax. Gigantamax Pokemon are a special kind of Dynamax. Dynamax is a temporary change results in Pokemon getting bigger with higher HP. It was introduced in Generation 8 and was a core mechanic tied to the Pokemon lore of Sword and Shield. Gigantamax on the other also changes a Pokemon's appearance with special signature moves. Gigantamax Pokemon only appear in max raid battles and are very rare to find. You could also feed your Pokemon the Max Soup, which can grant a Pokemon the ability to Gigantamax. Some of the most notable Gigantamax Pokemon are Gmax Pikachu, Gmax Charizard, and Gmax Snorlax. Legendary Pokemon. Legendary Pokemon are rare, powerful Pokemon that play a vital part in the Pokemon universe. There are 2 types of legendaries, Legendary Pokemon and Sub-Legendary Pokemon. Legendary Pokemon are the main legendaries. They are the ones you mostly see on the box art of every main series Pokemon game, like Zekrom, Yveltal, and Lunala. They have an average base stat total of 670 to 680, but some are lower and higher than that. Most of these legendaries are banned from OU, and for the VGC, they usually have restrictions to the amount you can use. Some legendary Pokemon can actually evolve, like Cosmog and Cosmom, who are the only legendary Pokemon to evolve. Then we have sub-legendary Pokemon. They are a bit different to legendaries, as they are weaker than the box legendaries. They usually have a base stat total of 570 to 600. These are Pokemon like Latios, Landorus, and Tapu Koko. Contrary to popular belief, Ultra Beasts are not legendaries, and I'll explain more about them later on. Mythical Pokemon. Mythical Pokemon are even rarer than legendary Pokemon as they aren't even obtainable during gameplay. They are only obtained through event distributions where the trainer can obtain them through mystery gifts or by getting an item to trigger a special cutscene. Mythical Pokemon used to be limited time only, but starting with Generation 9, Mythical Pokemon can now be obtainable during normal gameplay. Mythical Pokemon have an average base stat total of 600 and are usually banned from VGC, though there have been some instances where they were allowed. Some of the most well-known Mythicals are Mew, Arceus, and Hoopa. Ultra Beasts. Ultra Beasts are a group of extra-dimensional Pokemon who originate from another dimension. They were introduced in Generation 7 and played a huge part to the story of Pokemon Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon. Ultra Beasts live in the Ultra Space and can sometimes enter the Pokemon world due to the formation of the Ultra Wormhole. Despite being legendaries, Solgaleo and Lunala can open up and travel through Ultra Wormholes since they have a connection to the Ultra Beasts. Ultra Beasts have an average base stat total of 570, with some even going beyond that like Ultra Necrozma. Yes, Duskmane, Dawnwings, and Ultra Necrozma are classified as Ultra Beasts in the TCG, though base form Necrozma isn't. Some notable Ultra Beasts are Buzzwole, Nihilego, and Cortana. Paradox Pokemon. Paradox Pokemon are a special group of Pokemon introduced in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. They were brought to the Paldea region into Area 0 through the use of a time machine. These Pokemon are split into 2 subgroups, Ancient Paradox Pokemon and Future Paradox Pokemon, with each of them resembling ancient or futuristic relatives of other Pokemon, like Screentail resembling Jigglypuff or Iron Bundle resembling Delibird. Paradox Pokemon are genderless and are unable to breed or evolve since they are in the undiscovered egg group. Paradox Pokemon have an average base stat total of 570 and either have the ability Photosynthesis or Quark Drive. Koraidon and Miraidon are 2 special legendary Pokemon, as they are actually both a legendary and Paradox Pokemon, with both of them being either the past or future Paradox forms of Cyclizar. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more videos like these, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe as it really helps me out. With that out of the way, I'll see you guys next time.